got started this summer until everyone started taking Delta seriously. But the Roaring 20s will be a thing. I think there's going to be a big period of like everybody compensating for what they were missing. I think that's going to start, and then. But I think the answer to your question lies in how we're gonna once we've gotten that out of our system. How are we going to regulate? How are we going to where are things going to settle? And I don't know. I really hope that we don't. I really hope that those of us who have had transformative experiences with friendship don't settle back into our old ways. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Unless our old ways were awesome.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's interesting because I think we felt the loss of we felt the loss of connection, but I do think that there were so many of us who, even when we had the opportunity to be social, we weren't being as social as we were. It's almost like what the pandemic took away from some of us was the potential to be social. And so then we had to get creative, because I do think that in this era of everyone being glued to their phone, it became so easy to not do stuff. I think just on a social level, one thing I'm really curious about is how we're all going to be impacted once. I don't know when masks are going to come off, but once we start going to the grocery store, if God, yeah. But I think that we're all going to start feeling social in a different way if, God willing, masks. We start to see people's faces again. I think one thing that was so hard, and obviously once people started getting vaccinated and we, figured out how to do outdoor gatherings or outdoor get-togethers, we got to see our friends' faces again. But I think that here's what I think we're going to have to recover from: the social emotional trauma of the awkwardness of navigating around being with a close friend and not being able to touch them, not being able to hug them, not being able to, needing to be extra careful. It's like the cooties game that we've all been having to play, because those of us who are taking this seriously really want this pandemic to end, and we're terrified. And of course, it was harder earlier in the pandemic when we thought surfaces were a bigger problem, and so it was like being masked and sitting far apart from people that I really care about was so heartbreaking. And even now that we're allowed to do that, I still feel so much anxiety around. Like I went to an outdoor barbecue a couple of weeks ago. It was a surprise birthday party for a good friend, and everything felt very safe. Everything was. Everyone there was vaccinated. Everyone was keeping correct distances, but it felt wild to be in a social situation. It felt absolutely crazy. And I really had a hard time relaxing. And so I think we're going to have to recover from that, like, as a world. I think that there's going to be a collective recovery. And I think when that happens, then hopefully things will start to get back to normal.
What I hope is that all the new friendships we've made and strengthened during this time continue, and that friendships that waned for whatever reasons just take their natural course. I think that's, that is what will happen inevitably, is that things will move on. Some friendships are meant to last many decades, some perhaps even a whole lifetime. And other friendships are for a time, and they fill their purpose and then maybe burn out or move on. And I think that's okay to acknowledge that sometimes we outgrow a friendship or we move beyond
Yeah.
a friendship and it's no longer serving us and it's okay to say goodbye. I hope our friendship isn't like that.
I hope so too. I don't think it will be.
I don't think so either.
It's such the ending of friendships was like a, an experience that I wasn't prepared for. Sometimes they just sort of peter out. Sometimes, a friendship will end in kind of a spectacular, upsetting way, and it's like a romantic breakup. It can be. It really.
So true. So true. It's painful. It can be very painful. I think that's even a whole other episode. Gabi, I cannot wait to talk about some of these other topics with you, fatigue and failure and fear, and we have so much coming up. If any of our listeners have feedback or requests or anything to say to us, we have an email address, Gabi and Joanne, that's GABIANDJOANNE @gmail.com.
Thank you so much for listening to All the F Words. We will see you here next time. All the F Words is available anywhere you get your podcasts.
Stay tuned.